Good morning, folks. I'm in the garden today, or the swamp, and I'm feeding. I wanted to discuss weekly feeding real quick and give you some tips on how to do it that's going to help make your life easier. Let's get started. Okay, real quick, let's start with a weekly feed. This is weekly feed. This is ready to go to the plants. Before you go to the garden, have a bucket or a container that has a tight lid on it, and flip this bucket from end to end a few times and redistribute these small tiny particles through your weekly feed pretty well. That will make sure that you get all of those nutrients into your garden. Otherwise, you carry that bucket around, all the little stuff is going to sift through the larger stuff, and it's going to be in the bottom of your bucket. All right, now in a grow box, and I've got tomatoes here. In a grow box filled with sawdust and sand or any of the other approved mixtures, even with an automated system, you've got to water it in by hand. The automated watering does not cover the entire bed on the surface to get all of your weekly feed wet. So on feeding day, you have to water with a wand, water it in well. If you don't water in your weekly feed in your grow box filled with sawdust and sand, it is not going to dissolve that weekly feed. It's never going to be available to the plant, and you're going to start to see nutrient deficiencies in them. Make sure that you water that in well. All right, on this leaf, you can see I had a fat finger and I got fertilizer on the leaf. You need to rinse the fertilizer off of any leaves that you get it on, or it's going to burn the plant. It won't kill it, but that leaf will be ugly. When I'm done here with the camera, I'll come back through with a hose and I'll rinse all the weekly feed off of the peppers. Full row of peppers, by the way, in this row. On crops like onions or garlic, look at that awesome bed of onions. Don't pay attention to the weeds. You just have to do the best as you're able. You're going to get a little bit of the fertilizer on the stalks, spread it out the width of the bed. Again, you've got onions growing in the middle and on the edges, so spread it out and just do the best that you're able. On a crop like my kale here, if you go through a day or two before and you do your harvesting and your pruning, you have an open area in the middle where you can easily apply your weekly feed. And you can see my space down through my kale. I harvested 2 days ago. Anyway, and you can see the weekly feed that I put in today sitting on top. I've already watered it in with the wand, and from this point forward I will water with the automated system. Let's go down here to a bigger crop. All right, a crop like this Swiss chard here, potatoes is another crop that you'll have difficulty with. Prune a day or two before, and then you're just going to have to kind of pull one row to the side as you go to expose the area where you need to be putting your weekly feed. A big crop like this is a little bit more of a challenge, but you can do it. Okay, if you're watering in a soil bed, like these beets here, you can water with the automated system. You don't have to use the wand. You water until you have water standing in the entire bed. That is enough to wet all of your weekly feed, and it will go to your plants. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of rain here. All right, folks, there was your quick tips for the day on weekly feed. We have finally got rain out of the forecast. Hopefully this is going to dry up so I can get caught back up with my weeds. And when the garden is presentable again, I will do a garden tour, show you what we've got going on. I've got some successes and some failures in this garden, unfortunately. I will try and highlight those. And by the failures, you can see the plants that are not growing very well between the chard and the broccoli. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments section here, or the Facebook group, Mittleider Gardening Facebook group. I'll put a link to that group in the I'll put a link to that in the description. Thank you for watching. Happy gardening.